Hello and welcome. I am Laura Radnicki of lauraradnicki.com, a craft site with fast, fun, and easy crafts. And the best part is there's no perfection required. So we are working our way through the 30 Days of Ornaments project, and today is day 5. So we are going to be making a baby Jesus ornament. So the inspiration for this came from, I made a nativity scene that is one of the most popular crafts on my site, and I used large wooden peg people and one small one for baby Jesus. So this is basically the baby Jesus from that nativity scene, and then I'm adding a few other things and turning it into an ornament. So this wooden peg person, I believe, is the 1 7/8 inch size, and it really doesn't matter. You could make a baby Jesus ornament with the larger the dad doll. I think this is like maybe the little boy or the boy doll they call it, but the other one is the dad size, and I think that's maybe 2 3/8 or something like that. But you can make it with that bigger size too if you want, but I like the little small baby Jesus one. So our supplies for this craft are, we need a little wooden body for baby Jesus. I like to use burlap for the blanket, but you could use linen, you could use just cotton, white cotton, you could use muslin, Osnaburg, whatever you have, but I like the rustic look of the burlap. And then we're going to use a hot glue gun for that and scissors to cut if we need to. Then we're going to use some hay. So this is actually just shredded brown craft paper, but you could use like raffia, or you could use, if you had actual like fake straw or fake hay, whatever, you could use that. You could cut strips from a piece of brown cardboard or paper or a lunch bag or whatever to just get some kind of straw looking stuff. But we're going to use that underneath baby Jesus. I have a tiny little piece of cardboard here. That's kind of going to be the base that we end up gluing this on to make sure that this doesn't just all fall over the floor. But that's just kind of a little base. We're going to have two different strings here. We have thin twine and thick twine. I want to use, so one of it is just going to kind of tie the whole ornament together, and I'm going to use thin twine for that. And because this is a pretty substantial ornament, I want to use thick twine to actually be the ornament hanger. But you could use just all of it. You could use this thin twine for both pieces if you want. It doesn't really matter. And if you don't have twine, you can use string. You can use whatever you want. Yarn, it doesn't matter. So all of these things can be customized depending on what you already have, but this is what I'm using today. So let's get started. The first thing to do is we cut the blanket for baby Jesus. If you're using a different sized body, you can just adjust the blanket size based on the size of the body you're using. But for this small size, I use a 3 by 3 inch square, and I trim off the bottom to make swaddling the wooden body easier. So the first thing to do, I lay the body right in the middle of the 3 inch square on the diagonal with the snipped part at the bottom, and I take my hot glue and I put a tiny little dab right in the middle of the body. So the first thing to do is bring the bottom corner that I cut up to the middle. And you're going to just kind of hold it in place there while it dries for a second. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the left corner and we're going to wrap it across the body and glue it down on the side on the right. So let's see if I can do this. And burlap is a little bit tough to hot glue because the hot glue goes through the holes in the burlap. So you have to be careful you don't burn yourself. So we're gluing that corner in. Then we're going to put glue on the other side and wrap this other corner around. So I'm going to do kind of just a little, but then put some more down on the other side. And we're going to wrap around, and then I'll trim up these, ow, see, hot. we're going to take those off at the end, but you want to make sure that this corner is secured. So I'm going to put a little glue right on the inside corner there. I'm going to use this to help me hold it in place. And then we're going to just take scissors and trim up any pieces we need to. Burlap by nature looks really rustic and I like that, but I don't want it to have just straggly pieces that I could have avoided. So there we go. And we have a little swaddled baby Jesus. So then the next thing we want to do is we're going to take our cardboard piece, and I guess you could do this either way. You could glue baby Jesus onto the paper and then glue it onto the cardboard, or you could try to kind of glue the mass of stuff onto the cardboard first, and that's what I'm going to try. So I'm going to put some glue on my cardboard here, and then I'm going to just kind of wad up my shredded paper and push it into the glue. Now when we glue baby Jesus on and then when we tie with this twine piece, that'll kind of help keep it all together, and we can adjust at the end if we need to cut any. But just kind of the idea is that we want it to be secured enough that we're not losing a lot of these pieces. So that's secure enough for me. Now I'm going to put some glue on the back of baby Jesus here. And then we're going to put him right in the middle of the shredded paper. And so we'll wait to the end to trim up this. And actually we could probably just glue some more down, but we'll wait till the end to deal with the rest of the string or the shredded paper. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is take my long tie piece, not the hang piece, but the tie piece, and I'm just going to tie it around the middle. I just think this will kind of make it, I don't know, look all like it belongs together and just add a little interest to the ornament. So I'm going to tie it in a little bow, and I don't even think I'm going to glue it. You can put a little hot glue on the back of this knot if you want, but I think that looks fine just like that. So just a little bow right in the middle there. Now we want to have our tie piece, and so I'm going to fold it in half. And with all of these tie pieces for all of our ornaments, you can decide, you can choose which way you like it. If you want to glue like where my fingers are holding, if you want to glue that down so that you have the loop on the top, or if you want to do it the other way where you glue down here and then you tie this in a knot and then you have kind of the knot with the two ends up on top. So you can decide which way you like better. I kind of usually like the knot to be at the top, and so I'm going to glue this loop part to the back of my ornament. So I want to put a little bit of glue at the top of my cardboard backing piece, and then I'm going to fold this in half, kind of pinch it there, and then place that right in the glue. And then I'm just going to let that dry before I do anything else and tie a knot. So when that's done, then you tie a knot however long of a string you want it to be. I'm going to do it maybe 4 inches or so. You just want it big enough that you can loop it over the tree branch, and the rest is up to you how long you like it. And if your tie pieces here are too long, you can cut them, but I think that looks okay. And then there's our baby Jesus taking shape. Now you can kind of see he leans forward a little bit, so if I want to, I could put a little glue on the back of the top point of his burlap blanket, and then I could glue that to the twine to kind of help it hang better if I want to. But first of all, I'm going to just try to clean up the shredded paper just a little bit. I'm going to put a little more glue on one of these corners of my cardboard that's at the bottom. And I'm just going to kind of fold these rogue pieces and stick them into the glue if I can, just so it's a little more secure. And then there's one more big long rogue piece here that I'm going to see if I can just kind of maybe glue down here. And if you don't want to do this part, you can just cut those pieces off if you wanted. But I'm going to try to just tuck it in so it'll stay without gluing my finger. Okay, and then kind of fluff it up a little. That one's really not working, so I am going to cut that one off. So let's see, I'm going to trim it right there and just get rid of that piece. Then that way it's not in my way. Okay, and I think I'm going to trim this one too because I think I want it to look a little more free. Okay, so let's take a look. There we go. There's baby Jesus. So I think I'm just going to leave him like this. I think once I hang him on a tree branch, when there's, other branches, I think he'll lay fine. But if you didn't like how he's kind of tipping forward a little bit, the options here are, you could use a bigger piece of cardboard that comes up higher, and then when you glue it to the top, I think it would help balance it. Or if that bothers you that it tips forward, you could do the glue on the back of the blanket top corner and just kind of like press it together so that it's anchored right there. But I don't really want to mess with something that's pretty good. So I'm going to leave it like that. And there we have it. That is baby Jesus. We have a baby Jesus ornament. So I want to thank you guys for following along, and I invite you guys to check out the Mama Makers Club. That's our craft community on my site, and you can find all the information about that at lauraradnicki.com/library, and in there you have access to my free resource library, and that has free printable patterns for crafts on the site. There's downloadable printable checklists to help you do the projects faster and easier, some other resources and just things to get you inspired and help you make things easier and more often, because that's ultimately the goal, isn't it? To just get us making things. So I invite you to check that out, lauraradnicki.com/library. I'd love to have you be a part of that, and I will see you next time. Thank you.